Unleashing innovation, empowering creative problem solving. What works well? Es bueno. Create an environment where creative problem solving is not only encouraged, but celebrated. Real world experience. One of the most memorable projects I worked on was during a major organizational overhaul. We were tasked with completely revamping the way we operated, and it was overwhelming at first. But instead of tightening the reins, I did the opposite. I gave my team the freedom to explore. I told them, let's think differently, and no idea is off the table. What came next was nothing short of amazing. Teams began collaborating like never before. They didn't just solve problems, they uncovered solutions we hadn't even thought were possible. We implemented faster, innovated better, and worked more effectively than we ever had. That experience taught me that creativity, when nurtured, can unlock not just answers to our problems, but pathways to entirely new possibilities. Creativity is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to be exercised regularly. By creating an environment where risk-taking was not only accepted, but celebrated, my team felt safe to think outside the box. We all know what it's like when someone says, "We've always done it this way," but that mentality stifles growth. I learned that if we don't actively create space for innovation, we stay stuck in the same cycles, solving problems with the same tired methods. Empowering teams to take creative risks changes everything. The song that always comes to mind when I think about this practice is Imagine by John Lennon. The lyrics, "You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one," reflect exactly the spirit of innovation I've tried to foster. It's about imagining what's possible, not what's been done before. The song's message of envisioning a world beyond limitations mirrors the kind of thinking I encourage in my teams. Creative problem solving doesn't come from staying safe. It comes from dreaming big and pushing beyond what's comfortable. When we finally finished the overhaul, the results spoke for themselves. Not only had we implemented the changes faster than expected, but the quality of work exceeded anything we'd done before. And the best part, the team's sense of ownership and pride was through the roof. They weren't just solving problems, they were creating solutions. And that's what made the difference. It's one thing to tell people to innovate, it's another to give them the freedom to actually do it. What does not work so well? No bueno. Discouraging creativity is the fastest way to stagnate. I've seen it happen too many times. Leaders who are risk-averse or resistant to new ideas stop progress in its tracks. When teams know that their ideas will be shot down or ignored, they stop offering them altogether. That kind of environment doesn't just kill innovation, it erodes motivation. People don't want to go the extra mile if they know it'll lead nowhere. Without the space to experiment, teams become disengaged, and what could have been a breakthrough moment turns into another missed opportunity. The biggest lesson I've learned is that innovation isn't just about finding creative solutions. It's about building a culture where creative problem solving is part of the DNA. When you create an environment where teams feel safe to take risks and think differently, you don't just solve problems, you unlock potential. And that's what drives an organization forward. So, like Imagine reminds us, dare to dream big, because it's those dreams, those creative leaps that can change everything. This concludes Chapter 43. Please proceed to Chapter 44. Practice emotional regulation.